Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's FPL Vert, Warehouse Go Green, and today we'll be looking at how I'm solving the problem that is Christopher Nkunku, potential transfers, and my FPL Gameweek 3 team selection with captaincy. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe if you'd like to see more. So let's get to it. Yes, so before we get to Game Week 3, of course, let's look at how Game Week 2 went. I did actually go over this yesterday in my wildcard draft, but yeah, we're pretty decent all round, 80 points in total, which led to a green arrow. So now we're trying to get back-to-back green arrows. But for Game Week 2, yeah, Trent played and came off early again, which is probably good for his clean sheet potential. Probably managed to keep a clean sheet at home to Everton, but that's not too impressive given how Everton are playing at the moment. Robertson managed an assist and got 2 bonus. Jota managed an assist as well, came off after 72 minutes. Saka managed an assist in a pretty difficult game. Seems like he's pretty automatic for points at the moment. Smith Rowe, big goal against Leicester, got 10 points, incredible. But then blanks for Nkunku, Wood and Isak. Not too much of a concern outside of Nkunku, of course. He was benched in a 6-2 win when he's supposed to be one of the attackers, so that's very disappointing. And of course, the main event, Erling Haaland managed a hat-trick against Ipswich. I know, right? Man City against Ipswich. Who would have thought? Also managed to bench Gabriel's clean sheet plus bonus because he managed a yellow card, but I don't think I would have really considered starting him away to Aston Villa, so not too upset about that. But we do have to deal with Nkunku. Yeah, so Nkunku, yeah, as just like last week, he started against Servette last night, and he scored a penalty again, just like last night also. But of course, that doesn't really mean much for FPL because Palmer would be taking the penalties in the Premier League. So he's just starting and getting minutes in the Conference League, where he doesn't start in the Premier League, which is obviously not good as an owner in the FPL. And if you could notice in this picture is where you can see Madueke, number 11, also started, so maybe one to monitor if you are thinking of bringing him in, or maybe a bit of FUD for those who have already brought him in. But yeah, in terms of replacements, yeah, I think the best replacement is probably Morgan Rogers. He had a man of the match, or not really, maybe not man of the match, but eye-catching display against Arsenal. He was taking players on. He's teed up Watkins for a brilliant chance. Watkins probably should have definitely converted it, but maybe a bit of luck, maybe a bit of aura put him off. But yeah, I think for the run of games that Aston Villa have, I think you have to really go there. As well as if you already have Rodgers, then maybe you can go for Smith Rowe. He took his goal excellently against Leicester, and he travels to Ipswich. But I'm ahead of the curve, and I own both of these players already. So I moved to Anton Semenyo out of Bournemouth, and he goes away to Everton this week. He was very good on Saturday against Newcastle. He had 7 shots, 5 of those in the box. He had 3 key passes for teammates, created 2 big chances, and actually assisted the opening goal for them. So he'll just sit on my bench this week. So onto the Game Week 3 team selection. Starting in goal, we've got Dean Henderson, who has not played well. Neither have Palace. And in this particular game, well, Chelsea have actually won each of the last 14 between Chelsea and Crystal Palace in all competitions. And Chelsea have also scored at least twice in 9 of the last 11 meetings. So I will not be expecting much from Henderson other than saves, really. And it's not really a position I mentioned on my draft I could be moving to Martinez, but I don't think it's a transfer I'm going to use right now. I think there's more exciting moves to be made. Next is Gabriel. He hosts Brighton. Arsenal made it back-to-back league clean sheets following the trip to Villa, and that makes it 20 since the start of last season, which is 6 more than the next highest, with City at 14 in that same period. Brighton are in fine form, however, and they've won each of the opening 3 under new coach Hurtler, including Man United last week in an exciting game, and they also beat Crawley Town in the midweek in what I'm being told is a derby. Gabriel scored 4 goals last season from over 4 XG, and he's certainly the pick of the attacking centre-backs out of him and Saliba. And of course, Ben White is a bit more expensive, but I don't think he's shown he's worth the 0.5 extra so far. We could go there later. The game of the week this weekend, by heritage anyway, is Man United-Liverpool. England's two biggest clubs will clash in what will likely be a cagey affair. From what we saw last season, United were actually unbeaten in all competitions last season. They drew home and away, and of course they defeated Liverpool with that dramatic Amad Diallo winner. This is Arne Slot's first big test as Liverpool coach, but Liverpool started very well. They've kept back-to-back clean sheets, and they've also conceded the least XG as well as generating the most, albeit against Ipswich, Town and Brentford. This will prove a real test. Robinson travels away to Ipswich in what is another fixture play, looking to build on his assist and his 2 bonus that he secured last week against promoted Leicester, so another promoted team for Robinson. Saka has found attacking returns in each of his opening 2 fixtures this season, and he's been the heart of all of Arsenal's 4 Premier League goals. If you actually watch each of Arsenal's goals so far, he's been involved in all of them. Very vital attacker for Arsenal at the moment. Jota will hope to continue as a centre forward for Liverpool in the trip to Old Trafford. Could be a potential move that we'll have to move off soon. Of course, you've got Darwin that can play there, you've got Gakpo as well. But Jota seems to be returning, so I think Scott will just keep things as they are. Jota actually missed all 3 of the meetings last year, so I'm sure he's hoping to make an impact. Next is Morgan Rogers, of course, probably the most, well, I'd say it's probably actually Smith Rowe, but Rogers will start for the first time for me anyway. I've had him since Gameweek 1. I kept him benched for his trip to West Ham and the host of Arsenal. He's currently the 4th most transfer in midfielder this game week, with over 400,000 new owners, so he'll seek to definitely impress. Smith Rowe travels to Ipswich off the back of his well-taken goal last week against Leicester, and that convinced over 750,000 new owners to get him in. And he's currently the 2nd most transferred in asset across all positions, behind Madueke, who of course bagged that hat-trick against Wolves. Speaking of Wolves, Wood hosts Wolves, who were thrashed 6-2 at the weekend by Chelsea, and they've now conceded at least twice in 8 of their last 10 league games. So hopefully, Wood can add to that. Alexander Isak is looking to notch a 3rd successive home brace against Tottenham on Sunday. Probably the most exciting game of the weekend. Games with Ange Spurs are always exciting. 26 of Tottenham's last 31 matches have seen at least 3 goals. So here's hoping Isak can get at least 1. And last but not least, of course, it's Erling Haaland, who will be my captain for the week. Don't think there's much debate. Maybe Saka, but I think after a week when you back a hat-trick in a team that you will start in, unlike Madueke, you just have to back him. And West Ham is a nice happy hunting ground for Man City in particular. Man City have actually scored at least twice in 10 of their last 12 away games against West Ham in all competitions. Then on the bench, new recruit Semenyo. I'd actually like to play him in this game if I could. He goes away to Everton, who look, lost at sea at the moment. They haven't actually created a big chance going forward either. And they've conceded 7 goals in the opening 2 game weeks, so I'm assuming Bournemouth will score, but I don't think there's anyone that can really start him over. So I will be looking to start Semenyo next week though, when Wood goes away to Anfield, so maybe Semenyo can prove his place to me. Also, Porro is benched in pre-season. I actually mentioned that I wasn't going to be interested in Porro due to their opening fixtures, but I found defenders that would rotate with him. I'm very glad that I did, because of course Porro scored in the first week against Leicester, then he kept a clean sheet, so we take those returns and run to the bank. And Johnson's last on the bench, he's home to Fulham, which would actually be a decent option, I guess, if anything were to happen. So that's the team selection for the week. Wish everyone the best of luck, and if you enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and peace.